Man, this just went down. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese going at it. More so, Angel Reese going at Caitlin Clark.
Man, this just happened. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese clashed. Mostly Angel Reese targeting Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese believed she could intimidate Caitlin Clark with a confrontation after that third quarter foul. Instead, she unleashed a triple-double beast who went on to dismantle her entire team on national TV.
My goodness gracious. Destroyed this guy in front of a sold-out 17+ thousand. Fouled Angel Reese. Angel Reese loses her mind, tries to fight Caitlin Clark. It's glorious. The season is back. It is on. A triple-double in the first game back.
When the dust settled at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the scoreboard showed 93-58 in favor of the Fever. Reese faced a 35-point blowout, while Clark had just made WNBA history once more in the season opener. Talk about instant regret and a plan that spectacularly backfired. The moment that shifted everything began with what seemed like a routine basketball play in the third quarter. The Fever were already leading by double digits, and everything was falling into place for Indiana when Angel Reese grabbed an offensive rebound near the basket after a clear push on Natasha Howard to gain position.
If you guys didn't see, right before that play, Angel Reese had some contact with Natasha Howard. Caitlin Clark saw that contact. She turns to the refs and she's like gesturing to them. And this is all happening very, very quick, you guys. She turns to the refs, she's gesturing to them because she believed that Angel Reese fouled Natasha Howard. Now from that, Angel Reese gets the ball. Caitlin Clark realizes she is about to go up for what seems like a wide open layup. Caitlin Clark runs over and fouls her hard, and Angel Reese falls to the ground.
Caitlin Clark, spotting an easy scoring chance, made a split-second choice to stop Reese from adding 2 easy points to Chicago's total. Clark reached in and made contact with Reese's shoulders and upper body, knocking her to the floor. At first, the refs called it a common foul, something routine in any WNBA game. But then the officials huddled to review the play, and the energy in Gainbridge Fieldhouse instantly shifted. After a lengthy review, the referees upgraded the call to a flagrant foul. The crowd reacted immediately. Booing filled the arena as fans believed their star player was being unfairly targeted. Clark, meanwhile, showed impressive composure. When asked later, she simply said it was a good take, foul with no malicious intent.
Now, basketball 101, if somebody has a wide open layup and you have a foul to give, it is in your best interest to foul that shooter so that they don't get an easy 2 points. And what Caitlin said during an interview with Holly Rowe, she essentially said it was either Angel gets a wide open layup or we send her to the free throw line. It was a basketball play. There was nothing malicious behind it. I just knew I had to foul her hard. And that is exactly what it looked like to me. She went for the ball, she went across her body. Now Angel got tied up in it and she did fall down.
Reese's reaction told a very different story. The instant the call was upgraded, she strode toward Clark with frustration clearly etched on her face. Her body language shouted confrontation, shoulders squared, jaw clenched, eyes locked on Clark. This wasn't just about a foul call. Reese was sending a clear message that she wouldn't be intimidated by the Indiana star.
Angel Reese gets up, Aaliyah Boston shoves her, gives her a little stiffy. Hey, don't come at Caitlin. But look at her, Angel Reese upset. Oh my gosh. Hey man, this was hilarious. Look, Angel Reese was pissed. Look at her, she was still going out there a little bit. Look, took the jersey out. Well, what's going on?
Crew Chief Roy Gabayan later defended the flagrant call in the pool report, saying it wasn't a legitimate basketball play and involved unnecessary contact. But what happened next revealed exactly what kind of team the Fever have become. Aaliyah Boston immediately stepped between Clark and Reese, physically placing herself as a shield to protect her teammate. Boston's intervention earned her a technical foul. Yet that moment made something clear. This Fever team wasn't just Clark's supporting cast. They were a united front, ready to stand together when challenged.
I thought Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark were cool. But I don't know, man. The way Angel got up, she was like, Look at her. Ooh. I mean, she was getting after it, fam. Oh my goodness. Now, the funny thing was Caitlin Clark sniffing, walking away. Hold on, let me see if I can get a good angle. Yeah, look. Watch Caitlin Clark's face right here. Watch this.
Meanwhile, the Chicago Sky bench exploded at the confrontation, clearly hoping this moment would disrupt Clark's rhythm and shift momentum their way. Players jumped up, coaches clapped, and for a brief instant, their energy surged as they sensed a chance to claw back into the game. What unfolded during those tense seconds revealed everything about both players. Clark stayed composed, refusing to engage in any back and forth. Reese, meanwhile, seemed bent on making a physical and mental statement. One player was locked on the scoreboard, the other on asserting dominance in their personal duel. This attempt to unsettle Clark would turn out to be a disastrous miscalculation by Reese and the Sky. Instead of intimidating the superstar, Reese had unknowingly ignited a fuse that would blow up in her face over the next 15 minutes of play. The confrontation didn't rattle Clark, it unleashed her.
She came away with 20 points, 4 blocks, that's a career high for her, 2 steals, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds. Like, who are you, Caitlin Clark?
If Angel Reese believed she could intimidate Caitlin Clark, what followed must have felt like a nightmare playing out in real time. The confrontation didn't shake Clark. It turned her into a basketball force the Chicago Sky couldn't counter. Rather than faltering under pressure, Clark raised her game to a whole new level. On the very next possession, after the flagrant foul, she calmly dribbled up the court, signaled for a screen, and sank a three-pointer that sent Gainbridge Fieldhouse into a frenzy. The message was unmistakable: I'm not backing down.
Hey, look. One thing about this Indiana Fever team, you better come correct, man. Because if you try to do anything to anybody, look over your shoulder, man. Look over your shoulder. Because somebody is coming with some get back. They are taking up for each other. Even Stephanie White got hot.
With the crowd now fully fired up and behind her, Clark led the Fever offense with surgical precision. She delivered no-look passes to cutters that seemed impossible. She attacked the lane, drawing defenders before kicking out to open teammates. When defenders backed off, she punished them with step-back threes that had fans leaping from their seats. Her stat line started filling up across the board. Clark wasn't just scoring. She grabbed rebounds over taller opponents, blocked shots at the rim, jumped passing lanes for steals, and set up teammates for easy baskets.
Caitlin Clark is back with revenge and not taking any mess. You understand me? Trip dub Caitlin Clark for the first game. Oh my gosh, a blowout win, ridiculous.
The roar inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse swelled with every electrifying moment from Clark. Every basket she sank, every steal she snatched, every relentless hustle play sent the crowd into a frenzy, an unstoppable wave of noise and passion. The energy pulsing through the arena built an overwhelming home court fortress that crushed the Sky spirit more and more with every ticking second.
It's one. A lot more to come. Shout out our fans. Absolutely incredible. Thank you guys for showing up, showing love to all my teammates. We appreciate you. More to come.
The Chicago Sky just got a harsh reminder. Don't keep Caitlin Clark off the court for 7 months. After her longest stretch away from competitive basketball, Clark delivered a record-breaking triple-double never before seen in a WNBA season opener. powering the Fever to a dominant 35-point win.
They're gonna make this rivalry come back, this manufactured rivalry, which, by the way, you guys, the Indiana Fever beat the Sky by nearly 40 points. They won 93-58.
The Sky's issue was clear. They had no response to Clark's brilliance, Boston's control in the paint, or the Fever's relentless defense that limited the Sky to a dreadful 29% shooting. Angel Reese may have pulled down 17 rebounds, but both she and her squad delivered a complete flop from beginning to end. The Fever didn't just win, they made a statement as rising contenders. We'll break down how Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever humbled Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky on opening night.
The regular season is here, and we have no more time for flirting, folks. We have no more time. It's time to get serious about our business. And Caitlin Clark handled her business game 1. 20, 10, and 10. 20, 10, and 10. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, what do the kids say? Belt to ass. Oh yeah. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Indiana Fever destroy, obliterate, run out of the gym the Chicago Sky. 93-58.
7 months? That's how long Caitlin Clark had to wait. 7 months since she last played a professional basketball game. 7 months of listening to doubters wonder if she could level up after a stellar rookie campaign. 7 months of Angel Reese talking nonstop to anyone willing to hear her.
It feels like it's gone by fast, yeah. Which I didn't know going into the offseason of how exactly it would feel. I feel like just yesterday it was January and I was itching for like this first game. I was like thinking about this moment, and I mean, you think it will take a long time to get there, but it doesn't. If you just, stay consistent in what you do and follow your routines and, you stay busy, it comes pretty fast. But yeah, it didn't feel slow. I feel like this moment has raced up on us.
Imagine the pressure on someone who's played basketball their whole life. The offseason stretched endlessly as doubts piled up around Clark's game. Could she handle the physical play? Would she reduce her turnovers? And above all, could she turn the Fever into real contenders?
I'm excited to play, excited to get out there and play. I think it's different when it's the first one of the season. Like, you just are really amped up to get out there. A little anxiousness, but nothing I haven't experienced before. I think more than anything, just excited. I think once you eventually get in the building and you get here and you get in your routine of preparing for the game, you're pretty locked in. And honestly, I'm ready to go play right now. Forget warm-ups.
The preseason only made the pressure worse. Clark gave glimpses of her talent, but also faced leg problems that kept her out at times. Critics were watching closely, ready to attack if she stumbled in her season opener. And who was lined up for that first game? Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. But let's be honest, only Reese and the media act like this is a rivalry. Clark has no rival.
Rivalry is great for sport. Like, I understand that. I grew up loving rivalries. Like, I grew up in Iowa State. That's like a pro matchup in the state of Iowa. Like, I understand that. Or whether it was my high school team, like, I still hate our rival high school, Valley High School. Sorry, I'm sure there's a lot of people from Valley High School that love me and support me now. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys, but I wasn't your biggest fan. I didn't like the Tigers growing up. So my parents, my grandfather was the football coach growing up, and Valley was our biggest rival. It was the biggest class in Iowa. And I was taught to, growing up, if we were driving by the high school, to hold my breath because I couldn't breathe that air.
From the first minutes, it was clear something had changed in Clark. The hesitation from her rookie year was gone. No more second-guessing or overanalyzing. She played with a freedom that echoed her Iowa days, like she was back in college, running the show. Her first three-pointer dropped smooth through the net, sharp, confident, effortless. Then came the no-look passes that stunned defenders. The rebounds ripped from taller opponents. The defensive plays no one thought she'd make. This wasn't just Caitlin Clark performing. This was Caitlin Clark making a statement. By halftime, the Fever were up by 19 points. Clark was already on the verge of making history. 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists in just one half. What began as a hyped-up showdown had become a performance that silenced every doubt about Clark's impact at the pro level. The second half wasn't about the outcome. The Fever had that locked. It became about the record books. Could Clark keep up her all-around brilliance? The answer came in the fourth, when she grabbed her 10th rebound, sealing a triple-double with 20 points and 10 assists already secured. No one in WNBA history had ever logged a triple-double in a season opener. Not Diana Taurasi, not Candace Parker, not Sue Bird. Caitlin Clark pulled off what none of them had, and she did it in the very first game of her second year. As Clark ran the offense with sharp passes and clutch buckets, the message couldn't be clearer. The 7-month layoff didn't slow her down. It fueled her fire. She wasn't just back, she was better. And for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, that meant total collapse.
More than anything, like as a player, you approach the game the same every single time, or you should. That's how you should approach every single game. You prepare the same way, you come ready to play, whether it's the team that's last in the league or the team that's first in the league, it doesn't matter. I think for the fans, it's great, they love it, and I mean, Chicago is the closest team to us. You know, we bus there usually, so I get it geographically. But I think for our team and our group, it's, you know, we prepare the same way every single game. But I expect today to be an awesome game.
Here's where everyone missed the mark. While most expected Caitlin Clark to rack up points, no one predicted the Fever would become a defensive force overnight. Chicago's players came in thinking they were geared up for a shootout. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a nightmare.
All right, y'all. Hey, good stuff. Okay, we did a lot of really good things. I thought our defense was really good, and when we had lapses, we played through possessions. All right, so we made things happen. Y'all, overall, just hell of an effort.
From the very first possession, the Fever unleashed a defensive onslaught that felt like they had 6 players on the floor. They smothered every shot, suffocated passing lanes, and collapsed on every drive with ruthless efficiency. It wasn't just defense, it was chaos, precision, and intensity rolled into one relentless force. The Sky were left gasping. Every move they made met with hands in their faces and bodies blocking their path. Chicago's offense didn't just stall, it imploded. With no room to breathe, their rhythm disappeared and their game plan unraveled. They looked disoriented, hesitant, and outmatched, as if they'd stumbled into a storm they never saw coming. The Fever didn't just play defense, they made a statement, and the Sky had no answer.
Apparently, there's a WNBA player named A'ja Wilson. Apparently, she's pretty good. Caitlin Clark brings it down, goes twice between her legs, step back, jack. A'ja Wilson doesn't like that. A'ja Wilson isn't smart enough to understand that everybody's going to get fat because of Caitlin Clark. Everybody won't get fat if they keep bringing up the ridiculous, idiotic, and tired old notion of racism.
A'ja Wilson has ignited a blazing storm of drama, challenging Caitlin Clark in a manner that's capturing everyone's attention. Is this the fiercest rivalry in WNBA history? A'ja Wilson, a 3-time WNBA MVP, has been unstoppable on the court with astonishing stats and consecutive outstanding seasons. She's undeniably one of the league's greatest athletes. However, A'ja isn't just letting her performance speak for itself. She's making her presence felt loudly and clearly off the court as well.
A'ja Wilson, who whined and moaned and continues to whine and moan that Caitlin Clark is only popular because she's white, couldn't be more.
In a recent intense interview, A'ja Wilson made some significant statements that are stirring up the basketball community. She didn't just challenge Caitlin Clark, she alluded to a more profound issue that's been simmering beneath the surface for some time. Caitlin Clark, the emerging star and generational talent, has dominated both college basketball and the WNBA spotlight. With her electrifying performances and bold attitude, she's become the center of attention. However, A'ja isn't on board with this. Why is Caitlin Clark receiving all the attention? My achievements last season alone surpass her entire career. And if that wasn't enough, A'ja went a step further by claiming that the primary reason Caitlin garners so much hype is because she's white.
Hey, look, we love Steph Curry as a black man because of how he plays. We don't give two craps about Steph Curry or Caitlin Clark being white, black, green, or purple. When in doubt, yell racism. And when in doubt, look stupid doing it. And the latest is this moron named A'ja Wilson.
A'ja Wilson has ignited a full-scale drama, publicly challenging Caitlin Clark in a way that's sparking widespread conversations. Could this be the most intense feud in WNBA history? A'ja Wilson, a three-time WNBA MVP, has been unstoppable on the court with impressive statistics and back-to-back stellar seasons. She's unquestionably one of the league's premier athletes. However, A'ja isn't just letting her on-court prowess speak for itself. She's making her stance known loudly and clearly off the court as well. A'ja didn't stop with Caitlin Clark. She also brought Paige Buchers into the conversation, with Paige set to join the WNBA soon. A'ja is already asserting that she's not getting the spotlight she deserves because she is a black woman. Her frustration seems to stem from feeling overlooked, questioning why her MVP seasons, record-breaking performances, and championships aren't making her the face of the league. But here's where things get wild. A'ja suggested that Caitlin Clark should face a lifetime ban for what she described as a lack of respect for the game and its pioneers. What does that even mean? The internet exploded. Fans are taking sides, with some agreeing that race plays a role in media narratives, while others believe A'ja is going too far. Here's what she had to say. I think it's a huge thing. A lot of people may say it's not about black or white, but to me, it is. It really is, because you can be top-notch at what you are as a black woman, but yet that's something that people don't want to see. They don't see it as marketable, so it doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter what we do as black women. We're still going to get swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it really is. Players like Breanna Stewart and Diana Taurasi have reportedly weighed in. A'ja Wilson is the queen of the WNBA, but Caitlin Clark is box office. The debate over A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark isn't just about stats or accolades, it's about what defines greatness in the WNBA and who deserves the spotlight. Is this frustration rooted in jealousy and an inability to accept that Caitlin Clark has changed the game in ways A'ja never has? A'ja Wilson plays for the Las Vegas Aces, a team so stacked with talent that they could probably win games with half the roster. Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Jackie Young are not just supporting players, they're stars in their own right. With teammates like these, A'ja has the luxury of playing in a system that allows her to excel without carrying the entire load. In fact, if we're being honest, Kelsey Plum deserves more credit than she gets. Her playmaking, scoring, and ability to take over games make life significantly easier for A'ja. If Kelsey wasn't there to pick up the slack, would A'ja still be an MVP? That's debatable. It's worth noting that MVP stands for Most Valuable Player, not Best Player on a stacked team. Without Kelsey, A'ja's numbers and impact would likely shrink. So when A'ja claims she's the league's most valuable player, one has to wonder, valuable to whom? The Aces could probably still dominate without her, but the same cannot be said for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. While A'ja thrives in the league, Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA as the savior of a struggling franchise. The Indiana Fever had been floundering for years. a team barely making headlines and far from playoff contention. Then Caitlyn arrived. In just 8 months, she turned a forgettable team into a playoff contender. Her presence forced her teammates to elevate their game, and her leadership has been nothing short of transformative. Unlike Asia, Caitlyn doesn't have the luxury of multiple all-stars sharing the load. She's the sole centerpiece, carrying the team on her back while navigating the immense pressure of being a rookie in the spotlight. Asia might want to criticize Caitlyn's recognition, but she hasn't faced the kind of uphill battle that Caitlyn has in her first season. One of Asia's loudest complaints is about the awards Caitlyn has received. While Asia is proud of her MVP title, it's clear that Caitlyn's recognition as WNBA Player of the Year and Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year has struck a nerve. These accolades highlight Caitlyn's unparalleled contributions to the game, both on and off the court. Here's the difference. Asia's MVP is tied to team success. Caitlyn's awards recognize her individual brilliance and the broader impact she's had on the league. The MVP award is often debated, but Player of the Year and Athlete of the Year make one thing clear. Caitlyn's influence transcends basketball. She's not just a great player, she's a cultural phenomenon.
Caitlyn Clark is going to spend all of next season playing in NBA arenas. We've got rival fans being furious that, you know, Caitlyn Clark is that she's getting new arenas, getting moved to new arenas. You've got people saying that they're pushing the Fever. Why are they pushing the Fever?
Caitlyn Clark isn't just making waves, she's flooding the league. WNBA franchises are practically abandoning their home courts like they've been hit with a fire alarm that says, Caitlyn's coming. Teams like Atlanta, Chicago, Connecticut, Dallas, Las Vegas, and Washington, D.C. are all scrambling to larger venues just to handle the Clark impact. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is probably doom-scrolling, wondering why her name isn't splashed across those massive billboards.
One thing is very clear. The Indiana Fever is America's team. And boy, the haters by the time this season is over, their heads are going to have exploded already. They're going to be so angry by the end of this WNBA season. I mean, it's going to be hilarious watching the daily meltdown.
Take a moment to absorb this. WNBA teams are willingly leaving behind their cherished home courts to make room for one rookie phenom. This isn't hype. This is history in the making. 6 different franchises are moving their games to NBA arenas, meaning every Indiana Fever road game is now played in a venue with at least 15,000 seats. This isn't about following a trend. It's because Caitlyn Clark has the kind of draw that fills arenas like no one else in the league. While some teams are still playing in what feel like converted gymnasiums, Caitlyn's impact demands NBA-level venues. That's the kind of territory reserved for superstars.
That there are 6 WNBA teams that have moved their games to NBA or NBA size arenas.
Let's not kid ourselves. These aren't just slightly larger gymnasiums. These are full-blown arena upgrades. The Atlanta Dream are stepping up to the State Farm Arena. The Chicago Sky, yes, the same team that once treated Angel Reese like the second coming of Michael Jordan, are now dialing it back with 2 games at the United Center. And it's not for Reese, it's for Clark. Because unless the Indiana Fever are in town, Reese might as well be playing at a local community center. Even the Aces, with their glitz and trophies, are booking the T-Mobile Arena just to prepare for the Fever frenzy.
Caitlyn Clark, the people's champion! Let's get it!
That's a deep one.
Bang!
Just announced that Caitlyn Clark and the Fever will be playing 41 of 44 games this year on national TV. They coming to watch the other girl, right? Right?
Bang!
Teams are moving their games with the Fever to NBA arenas so they can sell more tickets. How about that?
Bang!
Angel Reese attempted a 3 this deep. I think she might dislocate her shoulder.
Bang!
You want some butter with that bread? Butter. Butter.
Butter pecan! Bang!
It's honestly hilarious when you think about it. Just last season, these teams were all acting like Caitlyn Clark was just another rookie. We don't need her, they boasted, chests puffed. The league is fine without her. And now, here we are. The same teams are practically begging for court space big enough to accommodate the Clark crowds. It's not just about rolling out the red carpet anymore. It's like tearing up the road and rebuilding it with gold bricks.
Atlanta Dream moved 1 game to the State Farm Arena. Chicago Sky moved 2 games to the United Center. Home of the Bulls, home of the Blackhawks. In Atlanta, by the way, that's the home of the Hawks. Connecticut Sun moved 1 game to TD Garden. Home of the NBA Celtics. That's going to look really freaking cool on TV.
Special shout out to Connecticut. This franchise doesn't even have an NBA arena nearby. So what do? They pack up and move the whole operation to Boston. Yep, new state, new zip code, new everything, just to make room for Caitlin Clark. That's not just special treatment, that's royalty-level hospitality. Can you imagine if Angel Reese tried to pull the same stunt? They'd probably laugh her all the way to some suburban middle school gym.
We're now at the stage where Caitlin Clark is probably going to be responsible. I'm not joking when I say this. For like games where she plays in are probably going to be responsible for like 30% of the attendance in the WNBA.
And it doesn't stop there. The Dallas Wings and Washington Mystics are also moving their Clark matchups to larger venues, complete with extra seating, luxury suites, and, let's face it, bigger profit margins. This isn't a coincidence, it's strategic planning. When Caitlin Clark rolls into town, it's not just a game, it's an economic boom. One ESPN analyst even dubbed her the WNBA's walking GDP boost. He meant it as a joke, but honestly, the numbers speak for themselves.
There are teams that are going to average 3,000 fans at games, but have 17,000 fans when Caitlin Clark shows up to town with the Fever.
Now, let's check in on the critics. The same ones who were screaming from the rooftops that Clark was overhyped have suddenly gone awfully quiet. Why? Because their arenas are packed, their jerseys are flying off the shelves, and their TV ratings are through the roof. All thanks to the player they once claimed didn't matter. And as for Angel Reese, she's still stewing over her not-so-unrivaled championship, watching Caitlin dominate the spotlight, the schedule, and the arenas.
The Phoenix Mercury play in the NBA arena. The Seattle Storm do. There are 13 WNBA teams, 7 already playing NBA arenas. The other 6 are moving their games to NBA arenas versus the Fever. You can't acknowledge that she is the needle mover. Yeah.
Before Caitlin Clark hit the WNBA, the average game barely drew 6,000 fans, about as many as you'd see at a high school pep rally. But Clark? She's effortlessly filling 20,000-seat arenas like it's no big deal. That's not just an increase, that's triple the usual turnout. These fans aren't there for the home team, they're showing up for her. WNBA execs are practically falling over themselves, openly admitting they'd give up home court advantage just to cash in on the Clark phenomenon. That's not hype, that's a walking ATM and sneakers.
I believe there was actually a debate on who was Rookie of the Year last year. Imagine being that delusional. Bang! People need to understand she saved this league. Powder, there's no TV deals, no ad sponsorships, heck, no shoe deals for you, Angel Reese, no McDonald's money. The league losing millions of dollars each year. She saved them from bankruptcy. Time to be grateful. Bang! 93% of her games on national TV. She's like that. Bang!
Let's talk numbers. WNBA attendance shot up by 48% last season, and unless your math is off, that increase has Caitlin Clark's name written all over it. Teams aren't just scheduling her games, they're building their entire season around her appearances. The Las Vegas Aces, the same team that snickers whenever Clark's name trends, have quietly moved multiple games to the T-Mobile Arena. Why? Because they know the Caitlin effect is the real MVP. All the eye rolls and cryptic tweets aside, even they can't deny she's the main attraction.
Now we've got some more information on the games and some perspective. Here we are. Indiana Fever put this out, man, just a few minutes ago. All eyes on us. 41 of our 44 games are on national television.
Now, here's where it gets wild. Caitlin Clark has secured 41 nationally televised games this season. That's not just more airtime than any other player. It's more than entire franchises have had in years. We're talking ESPN, ABC, CBS, NBA TV. Every network wants a piece of the Clark action. It's a broadcast feeding frenzy, and trust me, no one's settling for leftovers.
The most television games in franchise history, the most national television games in for a single team in WNBA history. How about that?
Last season, the Indiana Fever were basically an afterthought. They were the dusty book collecting cobwebs on the bottom shelf, overlooked and forgotten. But with Caitlin Clark in the mix, they've transformed into the league's golden child, now the star attraction in every primetime slot. The same team that struggled at the bottom of the standings is now the crown jewel of WNBA coverage. And you know that's stinging players like Angel Reese. For years, they assumed the throne was just waiting for them. But then Caitlin Clark shows up, shattering records, drawing massive ratings, and showing off a range that leaves everyone in the dust. Suddenly, it's her show, and the spotlight's all hers.
What A'ja Wilson just did was unprecedented. I mean, on so many levels. She's arguably, allegedly, the reason Caitlin Clark was assaulted the entire 2024 basketball season in the W. I mean, what A'ja Wilson just did is really like, there's no coming back from this.
A'ja Wilson's squeaky clean, positive vibes only persona just took a massive hit. And honestly, it's about time people started noticing the double standard. For months, she played the role of the calm, collected veteran, while her fans were waging war on Caitlin Clark over the Nike signature shoe deal. But now, the truth is out. During the reveal of her highly anticipated shoes, A'ja casually dropped a bombshell. She'd had a Nike signature deal in the works for 2 years. 2 entire years, all while her fans were out there demanding justice, accusing Nike of blatant disrespect, and painting Caitlin as the undeserving rookie golden child. A'ja's deal was already locked in, and yet she kept quiet. She said nothing while her supporters created chaos.
Wilson was oddly silent, but complicit. All right, why was she complicit? Because, well, she knew she was getting a signature shoe for 2 years, and she let Caitlin Clark take all that hate.
Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Social media nearly exploded when Nike announced that Caitlin Clark would be getting a signature shoe. The big question on everyone's mind was, how could they give her one before A'ja? That became the rallying cry. And where was A'ja in all of this? Silent, calm, strategic. She threw out a few cryptic tweets about respect, kept her followers guessing, and allowed the chaos to build. She knew exactly what people were saying. She saw the narrative unfolding, and she did nothing to stop it. Remember when she said this?
A'ja Wilson is her name. Quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is."
Let's be real. If the roles were reversed, and Caitlin had a shoe deal in the works for 2 years, but allowed the world to drag A'ja through the mud without stepping in to correct the record, she would be absolutely crucified. Articles would be written non-stop, and the talking heads would have a field day. But when A'ja does it, suddenly it's all smiles and, oh, she's just so humble. No, that's not humility, it's manipulation. A'ja allowed Caitlin to take all the heat, using it to fuel a sympathy campaign built on a lie.
Do you have any ideas what you would want your future sneaker to look like?
I think the biggest thing for me is just I would love a low top shoe. I play in a low top shoe, so that's something that I would love to have carry over. And something that looks good. That's so key to me.
The truth is, A'ja Wilson could have ended this entire drama with just one tweet. Something as simple as, "My time is coming. Don't worry about me." That's all it would have taken. The mob would have calmed down, and the attacks would have faded away. But she didn't say anything, because staying silent worked in her favor. She allowed her fan base, and let's be honest, a significant portion of the WNBA media, to paint Caitlin Clark as the villain, the rookie stealing all the credit, while she played the part of the overlooked underdog. It was all a performance.
A'ja Wilson. Who? Why? Yeah, she's some WNBA player. Who? No, she's one of the all-time greatest players ever. Why?
And now that the shoe has finally dropped, literally, all those "How dare Nike." Warriors are scrambling to rewrite history. But here's the twist. The disrespect never came from Nike. It came from A'ja and the people around her who allowed the false narrative to spiral out of control. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, who's done nothing but elevate the league and attract millions of new fans, has had to take hits from all sides. On the court, on social media, from players, and even from legends. And through it all, she's kept her head down, letting her game do all the talking.
And these WNBA fans that did not want to see Caitlin Clark come in and do what she did, which was dominate the league. Led the league in assists as a rookie. After the season, I think I counted she broke something in the neighborhood of 63 records last year. Either rookie records or just flat records by anybody, not even a rookie. And all these fans have been mad. And all the while, A'ja Wilson sat back and was just plenty happy to play the victim. She could have come out and made some kind of a statement that would have called off the dogs.
Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson, who could have easily set the record straight at any point, chose silence. And that silence spoke louder than anything. It sent a clear message to her fan base. Go ahead, it said. Let them believe I've been slighted. It said, let Caitlin take the heat. And that's what makes this whole saga so frustrating, because it's not just about shoes. It's about the way Caitlin Clark has been treated from the very start.
And so for Nike to put her in the position where she then has to go on social media and kind of cool her fans and like urge them to be patient and almost like defend Nike, it's such a disappointment, but it's not a surprise because Nike has done it before.
Instead of being embraced as the generational talent she is, Caitlin Clark faced jealousy and resistance. Not because she did anything wrong, but because she made the league too visible, too quickly. Her impact was undeniable, and instead of celebrating it, people tried to tear her down. A'ja Wilson could have been the bridge, the leader, the example, but she chose vibes over values.
How could they give Caitlin a shoe before they give A'ja one? Oh, how could they do this? How could they treat A'ja like this? Two-time MVP at the time, this before she even won the damn third one. They is wrong for doing this. You want to know?
And let's not act like the timing of that Super Bowl ad was just a coincidence. Nike ran a huge campaign celebrating female athletes and somehow forgot to include the most influential woman in basketball right now, Caitlin Clark. Clark, whose jersey sales shattered records. Clark, whose games led the league in viewership. Clark, who brought in fans who had never even cared about the WNBA before, but she was nowhere to be seen. Almost as if someone didn't want her in the spotlight, at least not for a little bit longer.
You want to know what I'm selling? I'm selling greatness! A'ja Wilson, 3-time MVP. We got Jordan Childs, we got Juju Watkins, we got Sha'Carri Richardson, and we got Arena Sabalenka.
Champion.
Hustling is not easy, but I love it. Sabrina, I know you want to cheat. Thinking about it? You're thinking about it. They're gonna go fast, kind of like Sha'Carri. I accept card. Where's the card? Come on.
Oh wait, but what's in that box?
These don't come out till March. They may or may not be shirts, but if I tell you, I'm gonna have to kill you. Oh, you want one of these? Nike.com. Who wants a t-shirt?
Nike really thought they could pull one over on us with that last-minute voiceover trick, as if we wouldn't notice. But fans are too sharp for that. We all saw it. It wasn't some editing accident, it was intentional. That awkward voiceover was essentially Nike saying, we love the revenue she brings in, but let's keep her out of the spotlight. Subtle? Not even close.
My favorite thing of all. So let's take a listen to this. Let's take a listen to this. Nike actually put this one out after the fact.
You want to know what I'm selling? Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark. I know you want a tee.
Okay.
Nike.com.
They re-recorded it. Like, that's not even, I mean that. That's like, listen to it.
And how does that make any sense? We're talking about Caitlin Clark here, the woman who hasn't just moved the needle, she is the needle. She's bringing in NBA-sized crowds, skyrocketing TV ratings, and completely redefining what's possible for women's basketball. Yet somehow, the WNBA and some of its most established names keep treating her like just another player on the roster. They're quick to cash in on the wave she's created, but when it comes to acknowledging her impact, crickets, silence, maybe even a little side-eye.
Not looking good for Nike yet again, dog. I don't even know how many videos I'm gonna make today about Nike, but it looked like Nike is definitely the star of the day. All started with the Super Bowl commercial, them snubbing Caitlin, them putting Caitlin in, them fixing the commercial, them dropping Asia's shoe. Now, come to find out, A'ja Wilson has single-handedly killed the WNBA media credibility forever. Yes. Oh, my goodness. These women was lying. Oh, God almighty. They made such a big deal over Caitlin Clark getting a shoe deal over A'ja.
Let's be real. Caitlin Clark should be the face of every WNBA campaign, every endorsement push, and every highlight reel. But instead of celebrating her success, the league has chosen to simply tolerate her presence. She's been treated like an outsider who stumbled into the party and is now outshining the hosts. And that cold shoulder? It's not just coming from execs or marketing departments, it's coming from the top players too. Enter A'ja Wilson. A'ja didn't need to be openly hostile. She didn't tweet anything nasty or start a public feud, but she also didn't do a thing when her fan base relentlessly went after Clark the moment Caitlin landed her Nike deal. Chaos erupted on social media, with people questioning Caitlin's worth, her resume, and her entire place in the league. Meanwhile, A'ja just sat there, perfectly quiet, perfectly strategic, letting the storm rage on while sipping her tea in the background.
Also, Complex has put out their 10 most influential women in sports. And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1.
Caitlin Clark did it again. As if shattering records on the court wasn't enough, she just scored another huge victory without even having to tie up her sneakers. Complex just crowned her the most influential female athlete, solidifying her place as the biggest name in sports at the moment. And the best part? She edged out Angel Reese, who, predictably, isn't taking it too well.
So, like, it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of, like, just moving on has been something I've tried to give myself a little bit of grace.
That's right. While Clark is out here racking up awards, growing the game, and making history, Reese is busy scrambling for excuses, pretending like this honor doesn't matter. But let's be honest, if Reese had won, we'd never hear the end of it. Instead of celebrating someone else's success, she's doing what she does best, downplaying Clark's accomplishments while spending more time on TikTok than in the gym.
Announcing the top 10 most influential athletes right now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark, check. Breaking records. Caitlin Clark, check. Proving their impact goes far beyond the game, from sold-out arenas to game-changing moves in business and fashion. These women are leading the way. If this is a top 10 list, then sitting on the top of that list, there's only one right answer. There's only one correct choice.
Let's set the record straight. This isn't just about an award. It's about who the fans are really backing. One player has everyone tuning in for her mind-blowing talent, and the other, well, she's famous for making headlines for everything but basketball. Some see this as a rivalry, but let's be real. It's not much of a competition when one player is actually winning.
What is your stance on that? So my whole thing was like, when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm like, cool. Like, the pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm like, all right, cool. I can just hoop. So I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're like, oh,
I'm still a rookie. I'm still figuring it out. Trying to figure things out.
All right, let's break it all down. Why did Clark take home this award? What makes her influence so undeniable? And most importantly, why is Angel Reese acting like she got robbed? We're about to dive into the numbers, the impact, and the hilarious aftermath.
And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at that. I think it's hilarious. I will tell you right off the bat, I don't believe there's a singular world, where Angel Reese should be ahead of Simone Biles either. There, I put that out loud.
Caitlin Clark didn't just break records, she obliterated them. 62 records shattered in a single season. Let that sink in. This isn't just about making history, it's about rewriting the entire record book. No player in WNBA history has ever dominated like this. and we're only in year 1.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the Fever rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Clark didn't just put up insane numbers, she actually changed the trajectory of an entire franchise. Before she showed up, the Indiana Fever were stuck at the bottom of the league, barely staying relevant. Then Caitlin Clark walked in, and boom, they made the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. That's not just individual greatness, that's team-changing dominance.
The woman who's been putting women's basketball on her back for the better part of 3 years now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark has men watching women's basketball.
Let's talk off-court impact, because this is where Clark leaves the so-called rivals in the dust. WNBA merch sales shot up 500% in her rookie season. Yes, 500%. Jerseys, t-shirts, memorabilia, everything was flying off the shelves. Meanwhile, Reese's jerseys, just sitting there collecting dust, while Clark's sold out in minutes.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon.
This isn't just about jersey sales. Clark's influence is shaking up the whole league's economy. Viewership is through the roof. Arenas that once struggled to fill seats are now packed, but only when Clark's in town. Teams that used to beg for fans are now scrambling to expand seating to keep up with the demand.
So that's what they got on her. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number 1. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number 1. Caitlin Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. That's right. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlin Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Clark's impact is undeniable. Her presence alone boosts the WNBA attendance by 105%.
Even sports economists are stunned by Clark's impact. Thayer Lavielle, a top name in sports business, called her a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her to Michael Jordan for how she's boosting the game's visibility and value. And honestly, she's spot on.
Because when we went to the WNBA games and we went to go watch Caitlin Clark when they came to play the Washington Mystics in DC, and they shut that they had to move the game from the Washington Mystics WNBA arena to the actual Washington arena where the Wizards played, and it was packed. It was sold out for people to see Caitlin Clark. That did not happen the day before that when they went to Chicago to play Angel Reese.
Let's talk real numbers. Clark's rookie season alone raked in a jaw-dropping $36 million for Indianapolis. Just one player did that, and it's only the start. Experts predict her rise will boost women's basketball's value by $1.6 billion over the next 3 years. Yes, billion with a B.
I'm going to look at this the way I did with Michael Jordan. Now, she's not the Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But A'ja Wilson is the best player in the game. Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league, getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number 1 pick. They were the worst team last year. And there is value that I can attach to that.
So what does all this mean? Caitlin Clark isn't just a superstar, she's a movement. She's doing more than dominating on the court. She's reshaping the entire league's future, bringing in new fans, generating massive revenue, and making women's basketball must-watch TV.
I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player every single year because of what he meant to his team and what he meant to the league. And, oh, by the way, winning 6 titles. Can't argue with that. Caitlin Clark may not win titles. Las Vegas is still a great team. But the fact that she is doing what she's doing and at a very high level, you know, it's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still sitting there trying to figure out why she wasn't named most influential. Maybe if she spent more time working on her game and less time complaining on social media, she'd get that this is about sports.
This is about sports. This is about athletic ability.
You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese, stop it. Stop it. There's a dude on the internet who cracks me up. Or on TikTok. He's put together a shitload of Angel Reese clips. And it'll say Angel Reese part 36. And it goes, Angel Reese going up for another layup. She misses. Bang! And I mean, dude, it's the funniest shit. And my whole thing is this, dude. She just seems as uncoordinated as a baby giraffe.
Caitlin Clark's journey to these awards might seem like a done deal, but the real story is way bigger. Remember Angel Reese? She was hyped as Clark's biggest competition, with the media pushing this so-called rivalry. It was framed as the ultimate showdown, a season-long battle that had fans hooked. But let's be real, was it ever really close?
Saying Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark is saying Rodman was better than Michael Jordan, or Ben Wallace was better than Kobe, or even Andre Drummond was better than LeBron. And I shouldn't have to point out that Angel Reese is actually a poor defender.
From the jump, the media pushed the narrative of two rookies battling for WNBA supremacy. But as the season went on, the gap became painfully clear. This wasn't a duel of equals. It was one player dominating the league, while the other spent more time in the headlines than in the box scores.
Oh, Reese, 3-on-3, part 13, let's get it! Classic long two. Bang! PSA, no rims or backboards were harmed during the filming of this video. But viewers are encouraged to look away. Bang! What? Bang! I heard her say that she might sit out if the WNBA doesn't pay her what she deserves. I say $1 million for every missed layup is fair. Bang!
They are stat petting queen properly. Fair wages for all. I repeat, fair wages.
Remember, they're coming to see her. Long two, butter pecan. Bang!
Then came Rookie of the Year and First Team All-WNBA, and that's when it all came to light. Clark didn't just win, she ran away with it. The so-called competition wasn't even close. As for Reese, she wasn't exactly graceful in defeat. Instead of congratulating Clark, she hit social media to claim Clark didn't deserve the honor. Imagine losing a race by a mile and then demanding a recount.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off of that.
But here's the real kicker. Clark's success isn't about trophies or petty rivalries. She's not out here chasing awards. She's revolutionizing the WNBA. Her impact goes far beyond basketball. She's expanding the game, shattering attendance records, and bringing in millions of new fans. Meanwhile, Reese is stuck trying to convince everyone she belongs in the same conversation as Clark. The difference? Clark is changing the game. Reese is just trying to catch up.